Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner. And today, as my guest, is Mr. Ray Barnes, who's the Acting Chief Administrative Officer for Frederick County. Welcome, Ray.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you here today. Well, sometimes I think most people in our community know who you are after all your years of experience. I'm sure there's a few of our viewers who still need an introduction. So why don't you start off by sharing a little bit about your experiences here working in Frederick County?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I started work for Frederick County in 1981. Mary Williams was the president of the Board of County Commissioners at the time. And I got a job here at Winchester Hall as an assistant planner with Jim Shaw, who was the director at that time. Okay. And we worked together for about 13 years in the planning department. Did a lot of neat stuff while I was here working for Jim in the planning department for the county commissioners. In 2003, Dr. Gadra, the new superintendent, hired me to work for the school system. So I worked over there until last year. Did maintenance and operations, designed new schools, supervised construction of different buildings across the system. So I've had a broad cross-section of experience in Frederick County, both here at the county government and at the school system.
So, well, I think that many of us know you in county government and, of course, throughout the education field, and you're really well regarded locally and across the state. So I'm really excited that you've joined the Frederick County government team again in this role. And I think you bring a lot of experience and expertise to the issues that face us. And you really are very comfortable with working in a public setting. You're really used to that.
Right. Well, I'm fortunate, and I've had, throughout my career here, I've been attached to a lot of great teams. And so this is just the latest one. I feel like I'm attached to a great team. And we take on some complicated and difficult subjects. And I think a lot of people get emotional about them, but I think it's our job to try to do our best to explain things to the public, answer questions, do what we can to reach consensus on so many of the issues that we're forced to deal with and want to deal with. And so I'm enjoying myself, and I look forward every day to coming to work.
Well, there's always a lot going on in county government. Now, I met you probably about 25 years ago. It's a long time ago when I was on a redistricting committee for a new school, which at the time was called Deer Crossing Elementary School.
Right.
And, you know, you really helped to educate me on how school construction works and how redistricting works. But I always think redistricting is probably one of the toughest public processes that you've tried to facilitate in your career, because people really are concerned about their children's education,
Absolutely.
Where they go to school, you know, moving to a new school. And so I always think that's tough. So I feel like if you can facilitate a process like that, probably all these other public processes are easy.
Right. I think people who are going through a redistricting process are naturally very concerned, as you say, for their children who may have to shift to a new school. Change is always difficult, and I think that's part of my job at county government and previously with the school system, to facilitate change in a positive way, because everything can't stay the same. You know, the county's growing, new issues are coming up, we have to deal with different problems. And so one of the complexities of leadership, but one of the necessary things of leadership, is to facilitate change in a positive way. And that's what redistrictings are all about. I've always told people, you know, wherever your child goes to school, you're going to get a great education in Frederick County. So I've always been reassured by that fact. And so I think that's helped me in helping the community move forward to face change when it was needed.
Well, I think that's a good way to look at it. And I've always said one of the things we learn from redistrictings is some parents are happy with where their kids are going to school, too. That's always a takeaway that you can take from that process. Now, you had retired from the school system, had been retired for, I don't know, maybe a year, 8 months, okay? And so you decided to come back and join the county government team, which I really appreciate. And so why get back involved after having this little brief retirement hiatus?
Well, I think working in local government is not only a job, but for me it's kind of a passion. I think it's important. I think it's a way I can serve the community in a positive way. So when the opportunity came along, I saw it as a way to just extend or maybe put a capstone on my career, doing something I always enjoyed, I always felt was important, something I felt needed to be done. So any help I can provide you and provide the rest of the team here at Frederick County Government, I'm happy to do, because I think it's a great thing to be involved with.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, this is a big job that you have. We have 17 divisions in county government, so it's a lot to manage, to make sure there's good management and policies and procedures in place. But also, somebody in all those divisions is having some kind of issue, some kind of problem, some kind of challenge that needs to be problem solved and move forward in a positive way to a positive solution. And so that's really a lot of what you have to do. And so it sounds easy, but it's actually difficult. And I think the historic perspective and the experience that you have has really helped you to hit the ground running.
Yeah, I kind of take the perspective that I want all of the division directors to be successful. So my job is to try to find and facilitate responses to issues and questions that will allow that director to be successful. So when things come up, I look for opportunities not only to make them successful, but to make the community successful. And so I think in Frederick County we're blessed by having a great team of people that report through me to you, and so we're very fortunate that this group of folks are committed to serving the public in a positive way.
Now, one of the things that you do is you monitor some of the public processes that are out there. You either attend the meetings and sit through them to hear what people have to say. Because when we hear what people have to say, it helps us to find that common ground and build the consensus for that positive solution. But you've also attended a lot of the county council meetings and stepped right to the table to help make sure that the council has the information and the answers to the questions they need. And that political dynamic can be tough, and you just jumped right in there from your first meeting on to answer questions and move things forward.
Well, I think the council has a tough job to do. They're also trying to balance competing interests and different points of view. And so as a group, they have to try to work together to come up with a solution that a majority of them are in support of. So it's a tough group, and I see my job as a way to facilitate their ability to reach consensus on what to do in response to any particular situation.
Okay. Well, again, easier said than done.
Easier said than done.
So
yes,
because everybody has their own perspectives and their own objectives there, and trying to meld that into keeping everybody moving in one direction is sometimes a challenge.
It is.
So now we have a lot of employees in Frederick County government, certainly fewer than in the school system. But I've been very interested in making sure that we value all of our employees and that we keep morale up in the county government, because they're the people that are out there doing the work, whether they're out there
absolutely
as a highway crew or somebody in the library helping someone find some material or a book. There's people out there serving the public in every part of county government. So how do you think we should make sure that we set that stage for valuing our employees?
Well, I think recognition is always a key to improving and setting that stage for employee morale. So anytime I get a positive comment about an employee who's working in one of the divisions, I make sure that I add my voice to the people who are saying something positive about this employee, and frequently I pass those on to you, and you also say that. And so I think our voices being added to the positive comments coming from the community helps raise morale. And in addition to that, I'm always a big booster of applying for awards that various groups put on, because I think we have a lot going on, a lot to be proud of in county government, and a lot of it is of an award-winning character.
That's right.
So we need to make those positive things we're doing known, and applying for and receiving awards, as we frequently do, is another good way to build morale. So I'm a big booster of that.
I think that's absolutely true. We do have a lot of cutting-edge things happening in Frederick County, and we have a lot of employees that go above and beyond to solve a problem for an individual constituent. So it doesn't have to be always some big, earth-shattering announcement that's out there. It can be really just helping one person get connected to resources or to solve this particular problem they have. So we do have very good county employees, and I've been happy to reinstate our annual picnic and our recognition ceremony, our service awards, and our other awards, because I think that's all important. But I think it's even better when other organizations recognize that Frederick County is doing a good job. So,
and we do get those.
And we do get those too. So now you haven't been in this position for a long time, so do you have any kind of immediate goals or any ideas about how to keep us moving forward?
Well, I think my role in this position is to support you, and then to support the division directors that report through me to you. I need to make sure they have what they need in the way of information, decisions, direction to keep moving forward. And I also think I need to facilitate communication, dialogue with the council to make sure that we can engage to the extent we can in positive dialogue about different issues that are coming up. So those are my goals, is to sort of support the leadership on the staff level of the county government, and to support, your attempts to move the county forward with the different issues that we have to face in the future.
So, well, thank you for joining the team. I'm really happy to have you here. You've done a great job. And
so far.
So far, yes. But I feel confident you'll continue to do a great job for the county and for all the citizens that we represent.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us for today's edition of Community Conversations. I hope you learned a little bit about Ray Barnes, who's now the Chief Administrative Officer for Frederick County Government, and we're here to serve you. Thank you for joining us.